I remember the exact feeling. It was a Friday. I had caught a perfect swing trade on gold. The entry was flawless, the patience biblical, the exit right at the peak. The profit wasn't just good. It was my biggest single win ever. A number that made my heart pound against my ribs. I closed the platform, leaned back, and a wave of pure electric euphoria washed over me. I did it. I finally figured this out. This changes everything. For 2 hours, I was a trading god. I called a friend, barely able to contain the boast in my voice. I scrolled through charts, not to analyze, but to admire. Every pattern looked obvious. Every level seemed to bow before my newfound genius. The win wasn't just money in the account. It was a drug. And I was high on my own perceived brilliance. Then, the itch started. The market was still moving. My session was technically over, but my mind was racing. A thought, slick and persuasive, whispered, "Your edge is crystal clear right now. The market is giving you signals. Don't stop while you're hot. Just one more, a small one, to cap off the perfect day." It felt logical. It felt like capitalizing. It felt like a celebration. I reopened the platform. The clarity I felt moments before was now a dangerous fog of overconfidence. I saw a setup on the EUR/USD. It was okay, not great. Not the A+ quality of my gold trade. But my brain, still drunk on dopamine, upgraded it. That's a 70% chance. With my focus today, it's a 90%, I entered. Size, slightly bigger than normal. Justified by the confidence and the momentum. The trade went against me immediately. A sharp, nasty spike. Instead of the cold logic that had guided my winning trade, a new emotion took over. Indignation. How dare this market take back my money? I didn't cut the loss. I defended it. I added to it, trying to average down, turning a bad idea into a catastrophic one. The win from gold began to evaporate on the screen, digit by digit. By the time I finally slammed the laptop shut, shaking, the story was complete. I had given back every single pip of that glorious win, plus more. The euphoria was gone, replaced by a hollow, sickening shame that sat in my stomach like a stone. I went from feeling like a master to feeling like the biggest fool in the market in under 3 hours. That night, I called my mentor, my voice flat with defeat. "I don't understand. I did everything right. Then I did everything wrong." It's like the win itself cursed me. He was silent for a long moment. Then he said, "It did. The win didn't curse you. It showed you who you really are when your guard is down. The market paid you. And then it watched to see if you were dumb enough to try and cash the check twice. You were. That loss wasn't the market's fault. It was the tax on your own arrogance. You didn't trade the EUR/USD. You traded your own confidence, and confidence is the worst trading signal that exists." That call with my mentor stretched into the late hours. My shame was a live wire, but his voice was calm, analytical, almost detached. He wasn't interested in comforting me. He was going to autopsy the disaster. "You think this is unique to you?" he asked. "This is the oldest, most predictable pattern in the book. The market didn't trick you. It followed a script you didn't know existed. It's called collecting the psychological debt." He explained it like this. A real win, a clean, planned, disciplined win, creates a dangerous imbalance in a trader's mind. For a moment, you have concrete proof you were right. The market validated you. It's a powerful, intoxicating feeling. But nature abhors a vacuum, and your psychology abhors imbalance. That high must be paid for. The debt collects in the form of overconfidence, entitlement, and a broken risk filter. He told me about Mike, a trader in our circle who had a legendary run on oil. 5 straight winning days. By the 5th day, Mike was untouchable in his own mind. He started posting screenshots, talking about his Midas touch. On the 6th day, he saw a risky, low-probability setup. His old self would have ignored it. His new, validated self saw a chance to prove it wasn't luck. He risked triple his usual amount. The trade was a disaster. He lost more in that one morning than he'd made in the previous 5 days combined. The market didn't attack Mike, my mentor said. It simply waited for Mike's success to turn into his own enemy. It always does. A win doesn't change the market's rules. It changes yours, and you start breaking them because you feel you've earned the right to. I sat there, the truth sinking in. My brilliant win wasn't the start of something. It was a trap dressed as a reward. The market had fed my ego, knowing a fat ego is the easiest target. So what's the solution? I asked, feeling hopeless. Never feel good about a win? No, he said. You must ritualize the separation. The moment you close that winning trade, you are at your most vulnerable. You are not a better trader. You are a radioactive version of your normal self. Your job in that moment isn't to make more money. It's to disarm yourself. He gave me the first, non-negotiable commandment. The clock resets. After any win, especially a big one, you are done for the day. Not just probably done, mechanically done, close the platform, log out, the session is over. You are not allowed to even look at another chart for 24 hours. You need the chemical cocktail in your brain to dissipate. You need to forget the feeling of being right before you are allowed to try again. It sounded extreme, punitive even. But as I replayed my own catastrophe, I saw it. The only thing that could have saved me from myself was a force field I couldn't override. A rule so simple and rigid that even my inflated winner's ego couldn't argue with it. The win was the test. What I did after it was the real trade, and I had failed spectacularly. My mentor's words carved the lesson into me. The market always lets you cash your profit. The Grea, for days after that talk, I was obsessed with one thing. I kept replaying the same mental tape. The incredible high of the win, immediately followed by the automatic, stupid decisions that wiped it out. It didn't feel like a choice. It felt like a reflex. My mentor called it a chemical cocktail. I needed to understand the recipe. I went to him with a new kind of question, not about the market, but about my own mind. What is actually happening in my brain right after a win? Why does the urge to trade more feel so powerful, so physical? He nodded, as if I'd finally asked the core question. You're not just being reckless, you're being human. You're experiencing what I call a dopamine hijack. He leaned forward. Don't think of dopamine as the happiness chemical. Think of it as the seeking and reward chemical. It fires when you expect a payoff. Trading is the perfect trigger for it. The tension, the anticipation, the resolution. He laid it out clearly. When you're in that winning trade, dopamine is already flowing. You're anticipating success. The moment you close it and see that profit, you get a huge surge. It's a primal signal. Your brain is screaming, "This works! Do it again, now!" The problem, he continued, is your brain can't tell skill from luck. It doesn't care about your trading plan. It only knows one thing. A specific action led to a big reward. So it chemically compels you to repeat that action immediately. It mutes your sense of risk and blasts your sense of confidence. That feeling of being on a roll, of being unstoppable, isn't genius. It's a chemical fog clouding your judgment. He told me about Sophia, a trader in our circle who was also a neuroscientist. She documented her own patterns. She showed me her journal, he said. After any win, her next trade was consistently larger, her rules were looser, and her discipline vanished. She wrote in the margin, "I can feel my own brain short-circuiting. I know the logic, but the need to feel that high again overrides everything." It was a chilling but liberating realization. My overconfidence after the win wasn't just a personality flaw, it was a biological trap. My own brain was sabotaging me, mistaking one good outcome for a new, permanent rule. "So we're just slaves to our own wiring?" I asked, feeling defeated by my own biology. "Absolutely not," he said firmly. "Awareness is your weapon. You can't stop the chemical surge, but you can refuse to act on it. Now you know that craving to jump back in after a win isn't a strategic thought. It's a chemical craving. It's like your body demanding more sugar right after a sugar rush. You have to recognize it, label it, and let it pass." He gave me the first practical step. When you feel that post-win buzz, that magnetic pull back to the screen, you have to name it. Say to yourself, "This is not my edge. This is a dopamine spike. It will fade." Then, you must break the state physically. Your trading desk is now a trigger. Get up. Move. Take a cold walk. Do some hard exercise. You need to burn off that chemical energy through your body, not through your trading account. The win was not the end of the battle. It was the starting gun for the real fight. A fight against the ancient programming of my own mind. And now, for the first time, I knew exactly what I was fighting. The traders are the ones who don't immediately hand back the wallet. My mentor let the lesson about dopamine settle for a moment. Then he said, "Let me tell you about Sarah. Her story is why this isn't just theory. It's a funeral no one wants to attend." Sarah was one of the most disciplined traders in our community. Methodical. Patient. She had a rules-based system for the NASDAQ and stuck to it like glue. For months, she was the model of consistency, grinding out small, steady gains. Then, she hit a streak. For 5 consecutive trading days, every single setup she took worked. Not just wins, clean, textbook wins that hit all her targets. Her equity curve wasn't just rising, it was a perfect, smooth ramp upward. By day 3, my mentor said, her journal entries changed. The careful notes about market structure were replaced with things like, "The trend is so obvious now, and my edge is clearer than ever." By day 5, she'd stopped writing her pre-market checklist. She'd internalized the message her brain was screaming, "You have mastered this." On the morning of the 6th day, the market opened with a gap. Sarah's system had a clear rule: no trades in the first 90 minutes after a gap. It was written in her plan, highlighted in red. But that morning, she saw the price moving exactly as it had during her winning streak. The dopamine pattern was now fully entrenched. The expectation of reward was overwhelming. She took the trade the instant the market opened. It wasn't a setup, my mentor explained. It was a memory. Her brain was chasing the chemical reward of the past 5 days, not analyzing the current chart. She ignored the gap. She ignored her rule. She even increased her position size to reflect her increased confidence. The trade immediately went against her. But here's where the true hijacking happened. Instead of seeing a normal stop loss, her brain, wired by consecutive wins, interpreted the losing trade as an anomaly. The dopamine system, craving its expected reward, pushed her into justification mode. She told herself it was just a pullback, my mentor said. She moved her stop loss further away, breaking another core rule. Then, as the loss grew, she did the unthinkable. She added to the losing position, trying to average down. Her logic was completely inverted by chemistry. She was now investing in being right, not in trading well. Within 2 hours, she had lost every single penny of her 5-day winning streak, plus 30% of her original capital. The catastrophic loss wasn't caused by a market reversal. It was caused by a psychological reversal. Her brain, addicted to the winning pattern, could not process the first sign of failure correctly. It treated the loss as a glitch in a predictable system, rather than the market telling her she was wrong. The worst part, my mentor said softly, was her reaction afterward. She wasn't angry at the market. She was confused. She kept saying, but it was working. It was all working. She couldn't connect her disciplined wins to her undisciplined loss. She saw them as separate events. They weren't. The loss was the direct, guaranteed product of the wins. He let that hang in the air. Sarah's story was the terrifying, real-world proof of the chemical lie. A winning streak didn't sharpen you. It disabled you. It systematically turned off your risk managers. First the written rules, then the logical ones, and finally the emotional ones, until you were just a stimulus response machine, chasing the next hit of validation. Your biggest job after a win, my mentor concluded, isn't to analyze the market. It's to analyze yourself, to check if you still feel the fear. If the fear is gone, you are in mortal danger. Sarah felt no fear that morning, only certainty. And certainty in trading is just arrogance wearing a disguise. That phrase. My mentor told me it's the most expensive sentence in trading. I'm on a roll. After my big win, that's exactly what I felt. After Sarah's 5 green days, that's what she felt. It's not confidence. It's a dangerous state of psychological momentum where past results bleed into your present decision-making. You're no longer evaluating the current trade. You're betting on the continuation of a story, the story of your own hot streak. My mentor explained it like this. Think of a gambler at a roulette table. He hits red 3 times in a row. He feels on a roll. So on spin 4, he bets bigger. He's not betting on the mathematical 48% chance of red. He's betting on the story of his streak. The market is not a roulette wheel, but your brain treats it the same way. A few wins create a narrative of inevitability. You start trading the narrative, not the price action. He made me relive my own disaster. After your gold trade, what was your analysis for the EUR/USD entry? Was it the same meticulous process? I had to admit it wasn't. The analysis was rushed, superficial. The real reason for the trade was the story. I'm winning today. This will keep going. That feeling, he said, is your brain taking a shortcut. It's exhausting to evaluate every setup from zero, with fresh eyes and neutral risk. A winning streak tricks your mind into thinking, we've solved it. We can relax the rules. It replaces scrutiny with a warm, comfortable assumption. Whatever I touch will turn green. He introduced a brutal mental model, the law of emotional compounding. Losses compound emotionally in obvious ways, fear, trauma, hesitation. But wins compound emotionally in invisible ways. They compound into arrogance, into rule bending, into a silent belief that you're smarter than the market's randomness. This compounded arrogance is what gets wiped out in one single, violent, mean reversion trade. The antidote, he said, is to treat every trade as your first trade. The market has no memory. Your P&L has a memory, but you must learn to compartmentalize it. When you sit down to analyze a new setup, you must consciously wipe the slate clean. Ask yourself, if my account was flat today, if I had no previous wins or losses, would I take this exact trade? with this exact size. If the answer isn't an immediate yes, you are trading your story, not your strategy. This is why the one rule we discussed earlier is so critical. It's a structural barrier against the roll. By mandating a complete stop after one trade, it forcibly breaks the narrative chain. It prevents you from even attempting to ride a fictional wave of momentum. The goal, my mentor finished, is to make your trading so boring that a win feels routine and a loss feels routine. No roll, no narrative, just a repeated process. The moment you feel that exciting, electric sense of a roll, sound the alarm. You are no longer a trader. You are a gambler narrating his own luck. Knowing the danger was one thing. Surviving it was another. I asked my mentor the only question that mattered now. So what do I do? The moment I close a winning trade, how do I stop myself from self-destructing? You don't stop it, he said. You outmaneuver it. You need a reset ritual. A sequence of physical and mental actions so strict, it acts like a circuit breaker for your fried brain chemistry. Your goal is to manually return yourself to a neutral, zero state. He shared his own, developed over years of pain. The ritual starts the second your trade closes in profit, not 5 minutes later, immediately. He laid out the 3 non-negotiable steps. Step 1. The physical disconnect. Close every trading platform, every chart, every scanner. Log out, not just minimize. Shut it down. Then, do something physically definitive. I used to unplug my monitor from the computer. The act of reaching behind and pulling the cable was a physical, full stop. For you, it could be putting your laptop in a drawer and locking it. The signal must be to your body. This activity is over. Step 2. The journal entry of neutrality. Open your journal, record the trade. But here's the key. You are forbidden from writing anything emotional. No great win or perfect setup. You write only the facts. Pair, entry, exit, RR, P&L. Then, you write the following sentence word for word. This trade is now historical data. It has no predictive value for the next trade. Sign your name under it. This is a contract with your future impulsive self. Step 3. The 60-minute buffer. You are now banned from any market-related activity for 60 minutes. No news, no financial Twitter, no chatting with other traders. Your mind will crave the continuation of the feeling. You must starve it. Use this time for a non-negotiable physical task. Go for a run. Take a cold shower. Clean your apartment. Something that requires focus and bodily effort. This metabolizes the adrenaline and dopamine through movement, not through more trading. He told me about a professional he knew who kept a heavy kettlebell next to his desk. After any win, his ritual was to shut everything down and do 50 two-handed swings. By the end, my mentor said, he's out of breath. His heart is pounding from exertion, not from P&L. The chemical high from the win is physically overwritten by a new, clean stimulus. He has literally reset his nervous system. I implemented my version. My ritual became 1. Close all tabs and put a physical cover over my monitors. 2. Log the trade with the neutrality sentence. 3. Immediately go for a brisk 15-minute walk outside. No phone. The first few times, my mind raced the entire walk. What if the market is making a huge move right now? But slowly, the walk became associated with relief, not anxiety. It was the space where I reclaimed myself from the grip of the win. The ritual didn't just protect my money, it protected my mind. It was the deliberate, boring process of diffusing the bomb that every successful trade plants in your psychology. Months passed. I practiced the reset ritual religiously. The dramatic self-sabotage after a win stopped. But something else stranger began to happen. The wins themselves started to feel different. I remember the moment I realized it. I had taken a clean trade on a Tuesday morning. It ran to target perfectly. I closed it, saw the green number, and felt almost nothing. No surge of euphoria, no chest-pounding excitement. Just a mild, quiet satisfaction. The same feeling you get when you correctly assemble a piece of furniture or finish a well-planned workout. I executed my ritual mechanically. Log, cover monitors, walk. When I returned, it hit me. I hadn't just controlled the aftermath of the win. The win itself had lost its toxic power over me. I called my mentor, slightly concerned. Is this normal? Have I burned out? The win felt flat. He laughed, a genuine warm laugh. Congratulations! You've just described the final level. That flat feeling isn't burnout. It's professionalism. He explained the evolution. A beginner's win is a dopamine explosion. It's personal validation. A profitable trader's win is a relief, often mixed with anxiety about giving it back. But a professional's win? It's a verified receipt. It's proof that a process was followed correctly. The emotion is transferred from the outcome to the execution. The high comes from the discipline, not the dollars. You haven't lost the joy of trading, he continued. You've graduated from the joy of winning to the joy of correct execution. The money is just a byproduct, a scorekeeper. When a win or a loss triggers roughly the same emotional response, a neutral review of your process, you are finally free. The market can't manipulate you with either profits or pain. This was the ultimate defense against losing after a win. When the win itself is neutralized, stripped of its cinematic glory, there is no emotional pendulum to swing back. There is no psychological debt to collect. You take your one trade, you follow your ritual, and you remain the same person you were before the open. The win changes the number in your account, but it no longer changes you. My mentor's final words on this were the ones I hold on to. The goal is to make trading boring, profitably, consistently boring. When a win feels like just another step in a long, calm walk, you're there. You're not on a roll, you're on a path. And a path doesn't care about the single step you just took. It only cares that you keep walking.